Hello and welcome to the High or Lows podcast, a 5th ed Dungeons & Dragons adventure set in the world of Taraz. I'm Philip Martin, your Dungeon Master, and with me is Laurie Crawford.
Hello, hello.
Next in the order, we've got Meeraiya.
What do you call a vegetable with a sense of humor? Aha, pea.
Ha-ha, T laugh for that one.
Move on.
Middle of the group tonight, we've got Daniel Fletcher.
Howdy.
Getting towards the end is Mimbo Wang.
I rolled a natural 1 on that joke.
No, I think Ash did.
Yeah, actually, technically.
Well, it definitely went over Tweak's head as the shortest of the group. And anyway, last of the group tonight is Lizzie McPherson.
Hey, lovelies.
So, previously on the High or Lows podcast, the episode started with the group just having defeated the Harpies, but still placed precariously close to an edge, with some more climbing to do before they could take a rest. They climbed down one ledge and then up another with only a couple of minor incidents, but thanks to being roped together, these just resulted in a couple of minor scrapes and bruises, mostly for Baracus and Callum, I believe. They also realized that there were harpy nests peppered throughout this area, each of varying difficulty to access due to the harpy's ability to fly. Different people of the group had different opinions on these nests, with some wanting to raid them for loot, others wanting to burn them to the ground, but the bulk of the group simply just wanting to move on to heal. Baracus, with the best dark vision of the group, noticed a potential weak spot in the bridge, which turned out to be just some old dwarven architecture, which had managed to stay in place after the separation event when Terra left Taraz. And as the group got closer to investigate this, Tweak felt that he and most others would be fine to just cross this section, but Baracus and Thistle may have issues due to their bulkier size. And with this in mind, most of the group elected to simply just jump across the weak section so as not to risk falling through it and into the void below. And so one by one, the group all crossed the bridge, and as they got to the other side, saw a dwarven tunnel leading north that they hoped would carry them to the next section. Upon reaching the relative safety of this tunnel, the group took a short rest to try to heal some of their wounds. And this is where we'll jump in, with the group somewhat rested after and trying to reach Homestead before they take their next long rest. So, Mimbo, you were away. The group have completed a short rest. You can roll hit dice if you would like, or do anything you would like to do on a short rest.
Will do.
I'm pretty sure Chuck was one of the most hurt people of the group. So you guys, sort of, you haven't gone deep into this tunnel. I think you went about like kind of 40, 50 feet. Just to sort of give yourself some cover if the Harpies decided to come for you. And yeah, it's you can go back down the way you came, or you can keep going the other way, and it seems to continue on.
Well, I'm not one to want to tarry around too long. Do we want to hit those harpies' nests or just go straight to Homestead?
Well, I think you've already got my answer on that one.
I'd prefer personally not to do the harpies, but I mean, I can't necessarily say no to a good idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a good stretch after that little bit of rest back there, but I don't think we have the time for it. I personally think onward to Homestead.
Live to fight another day. I guess we can strategize back at the base there. Yes.
I mean, I think we'll be coming back this way at some point, so maybe we can gear up and be more prepared.
I mean, the little fella was talking about building a bridge. I mean, if we can get the Harpers out of here, it might be a good way to grow Homestead, I suppose. Not that we're all that close.
I just think, hit them while they're down is probably the most effective way.
We just have no way of knowing that are they indeed down, or did we just buck a small contingent? I think it is definitely a good idea to come back to, and definitely, Tweak, I do think that you marked it on the map already, so we can always come back.
I mean, if the people from Homestead can set up a outpost or something, or more towards the valley, maybe they can defend this area. At least then it can be a safe passage.
Mm. Get them to deal with all their stupid squabbles and come together for a plan like that, but it might work.
I just think you're the best to know. How would your people feel about us having cleared this whole area? How valuable is it to them?
I'm sure they'd be happy about it, but they're always squabbling about something. That's why I tend not to be around. They really don't get much done unless, yeah, I mean, some people get some shit done, but people are just scurrying in their own directions for the most part.
Who knows? Perhaps we could contract ourselves to clear them out. We might be able to make some alliances and some coin while we're at it. So let's make our way to Homestead.
Oh, I'm sure if y'all can manage to stick together, you'll get some work. There's plenty of people wanting to do stuff, and Oasis is always a problem. They don't really have a plan on what to do with that.
I'm going to drop my wild shape, go back into thistle form, and so I can try and join in on the conversation a bit more.
Instead of just saying ook.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so yeah, the path seemingly it goes on as far as even Baracus can see. It just continues onward.
I get in my Still Defender and I make my way forward.
Tweak is going to lead the way.
Come on, snake oaks.
So who's going next?
I'll go after him.
Yeah, and I'd probably try and keep even with him. Won't let him get too far ahead.
Yeah. And then generally Baracus, I suppose.
Yep, you got it.
And we got Chuck and Candle in the back, the old guy and the young guy. All right. So you guys start making your way forward. Are you doing anything special as you go ahead, or are you just cruising on?
Probably looking out for potential ambushes, more cloakers, that kind of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. You can give me a perception check, but you're not trying to move stealthily or anything like that. I suppose is one thing I was trying to check.
I'm guessing not with Tweak probably pushing forward quickly.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, give me perception checks.
19.
Tweak. Thistle.
Oh,
4.
20.
17.
Okay. As you guys are moving along, you notice that these are worked tunnels. They definitely have been worked. They've got stone walls, but they've fallen into a bit of disrepair, and there's some rubble on the ground. What you notice as you're moving along is, as you get a little bit further, you actually start to see, not fully intact, but the smattering. Every now and then you'll see a rail, basically like a train rail. They're in a bit of disrepair. But it does occur to you that this is probably a passageway, or was once a passageway that the dwarves used for carts, some sort of mining operation.
This is brilliant. We could refurbish and reconstruct the rail. It'll allow us to travel much quicker around these parts. And we can get resources from one end back to my forge.
A bit of work, but I mean, it sounds like it would be good for the homestead as well.
Anyone that wants to give me an intelligence check.
15.
So it occurs to you that it was quite possibly these rails that might have kept the bridge intact. You didn't see any on the bridge. It's likely that they may have fallen away there, but it's likely that the extra reinforcement of the rails prevented all that stone from collapsing.
Probably rusted away since.
Reinforce the walls, and surely there's iron around here. We could possibly be making our own rail.
Oh, there's iron and all sorts of things. I mean, I'm sure them dwarves found some iron. It didn't sound like that was their focus, but I'm sure they got some.
Yeah, I mean, they were mainly looking for gems and other shinies. But yeah, no doubt there would be iron around there.
To be honest, it's a bit of a waste of time looking for gems at this stage. I mean, if I was down here, I'd be looking for iron for sure.
I mean, when you don't have a limit to how long you live, There's no such thing as wasting time.
Well, they can be killed, can't they?
Yeah, they just seem to really like shiny things. It was kind of weird. I get it though. Shiny things are nice.
Some copper would be good too. I could use it to make some contactors and transistors, some coils that could help me energize things.
Maybe you could, when we had the time, work out a way to perhaps build some sort of device or explosion of some sort and get through that curious door we left back there and close to the forge. Seemed a bit beyond our means at that time.
So it occurs to you that this, at one point there was probably two. Well, at one point there was no chasm. This was all just dwarven ruin, or dwarven, not even ruins. At one point, it was a dwarven settlement of some sort. And this section appears to be sort of the mining section. So you see, it occurs to you that the mining section seems to be more on the eastern side of the dwarven stuff, and the sort of living dwellings area was more on the western side. And it doesn't surprise you that the undead dwarves, if they were cut off from the actual mine, they just sort of tried to make a new one.
Unless you mine out a massive chasm, there's a good chance you might miss some.
Yeah, and the separation event would have well, you guys know that the separation event did a pretty big number on this. Well, it may have been when Virtue was formed, but more likely it was the separation event, because that's what formed the chasm, for example. So that had a bigger impact on this area than the building of Virtue. So as you guys are still moving ahead, you notice that up ahead there is some sort of path leading left. It does not appear that the rail goes that way. Like, again, there's debris all over the rail, but you can sort of, now that you know it's there, you can sort of see the shape of it, and you can see that there's not a rail leading left. It just keeps on going ahead.
We should probably follow the rail. I mean, it should end at either a quarry or perhaps a loading bay.
Do we get a sense of what direction we're actually heading?
It still seems to just be going northward. You still feel like the rail is leading you in the right direction.
And Kendall, I'm sure you've been in these parts before.
Oh yeah, if we want to get to Homestead, we just follow the tracks.
I knew it.
I think probably most of this area has been picked over by some of the early homesteaders, but it might be something they missed. So we definitely explored this area back in the day. I was told about it anyway. I didn't do the exploring myself. I came out here one time to check it out.
Seems to be kind of heading towards the western, making a western arc, but it is in a northern direction, and north is where we need to be heading, so I agree, along the rails.
It's very hard to tell which is north and which is south in a rock that's satelliting the planet.
Yeah, we're just making it up. Just so we have a cardinal direction. We don't know shit. We just picked a direction and said, well, that's north. Because otherwise, how the fuck do you make maps?
You could always use the chasm as a reference.
Keep one reference point.
The chasm is essentially the equator, right? Going east to west. And we don't really have a date line. What's a date line anyway?
Well, how long will it take to get to Homestead from here, do you think?
Like I say, probably about half a day. But I'm expecting there to be some obstacle, because I know I heard talk a few years back. I remember someone saying about setting up some kind of defenses, but I really don't remember, or don't even think I was told what they were. Just that they would put something up to try to protect them from the harpies.
Well, let's keep moving forward.
Will those defenders distinguish between harpies and people?
No idea, but I doubt it. Again, I don't know if it's defenders or some sort of traps or just obstacles like a wall, but I know that someone a few years back put something up just to slow down any progress to Homestead.
If they're anything like those mechanoid warriors that we fought before, then probably not. Mechanoid? Undead? I don't remember. Feels like a long time ago now.
Wes, I'm thinking about that. Like, that book seemed to have some information about this stuff, and well, there is like a big old statue up in Homestead that just sort of sits there. I'm wondering if that's maybe there's something else going on, but we've seen some weird shit.
Maybe Tweak can have a look at it, suss it out a bit.
Like, the statue is made of metal, and like it seems pretty intricate. It might be more than a statue. It ain't just like a stone thing.
Intriguing.
We'll have to go back there and get that book.
Okay, well, perhaps I'll just mark that on my map.
Yep. So as you guys are continuing on, you do notice that the path actually veers right this time. And this time there is an offshoot of the track going that way. Sort of veering off with like a connection. What do they call it? A junction. I will say though, Brackus, as you're walking past that tunnel going left, you can sort of see the back of a wall. It doesn't seem like it's a big tunnel.
Looks like we're looking at a possible room or something. Just keep your wits about you, but this might only be a quick investigation.
Something small. We might as well stick our heads in.
Indeed.
As you stick your head into the left tunnel, it does only seem to go about 70 feet. So as the rest of you sort of enter, you can start seeing the back of the wall as well. You see a couple of old, rotting crates that have sort of been opened and pilfered. There doesn't seem to be anything useful in them at first glance. You see some rocks. You see some like support struts that, again, it looks like they've seen better days, but the dwarven architecture is holding.
These struts could come in handy.
I don't really want to mess with the structural integrity of this place, though. They're holding it up.
Well, we might as well have a quick poke around.
Okay, a couple of you guys give me investigation checks if you'd like.
Me.
Oh, that's a 5 for me.
22.
Okay, roll me a D100. What'd you get?
27.
27. You find, as you're exploring around, like you sort of go into you're sort of scraping away some of the dirt, and you actually just find a knife and a fork.
Excellent.
They seem to be made out of brass.
I could melt this down and extract the copper.
We found the metals that you were looking for.
But other than the knife and the fork, you really don't notice anything. There's some larger rocks, some smaller rocks, some rotting wood, the still intact but seen better days support strut, and that's about it. So, like the rotting wood would burn, for example. You could take it if you wanted firewood, but it would also be bulky to carry around.
There's no good bits, I'm guessing?
High or lows?
Hi.
Shieldy bits.
Okay. You find two, as you're going through the wood, like trying to find some good bits, you find, two good 2-foot 2x4s.
Ooh. I'm taking them. This might help for your shield, Baracus.
Nice.
So 2-foot 2x4s that are still, like, they're old and, like, but they will hold. The rot never got to them.
Yeah. Like something that I might just kind of have around the outside of the shield to make it a bit sturdier.
Yeah, 2x4s are. There's so many things you can do with a 2x4.
Definitely.
Is it just one knife and fork?
Yes.
I wonder why we've just got one knife and fork just laying here. It's very odd.
Well, it occurs to you that this was once a functioning mining operation, but something did happen to the people that lived here. And you've heard enough and seen enough that it was probably some sort of goblin attack. You're someone who's familiar with goblin attacks as well, Twink. So maybe just some shit went down and people just had to scurry to a new position, or maybe just someone just forgot their knife and fork and just like left it and lost it here in the dirt. It was half buried. You were lucky to see it.
This could really come in handy. Let's continue our way to Homestead, shall we?
So that was the left path, and really just a bit ahead of that is this right path with this junction. And you can see that the junction doesn't actually go that way. There's sort of the veering off trail, and at the end you can see one cart on the tracks and one cart on the side, on its side, fallen off the track.
Is there anything in the cart?
It would be maybe in the one that's collapsed, there'd maybe be some stone. In the one that's intact, yeah, maybe just a few stones, but it doesn't seem to be anything of value. Give me an investigation roll.
18.
18. So the cart that has collapsed and is on lying on its side by the tracks, that has definitely seen much better days. It's splitting and it's like its wheels have broken off, and that's why it's fallen. It's got two wheels still on it, but it's the other two wheels have just the axle on the one side, the left side, doesn't actually matter which side. It's totally fallen. It's totally broken off and is sort of lying in the dirt to the side a little bit. And you can see as it's fallen, it's got a bunch of splits. But it does seem like, there is some materials here. The other cart that is still on the tracks, that has one wheel has popped off, but it still has three wheels intact. It seems to be still somewhat reinforced.
Does the brake look functional on it?
The brake look functional. I would say no. You'd have to repair them. And the brake on the one that's fallen over has fallen off.
But with Twig's expertise and or mending spell, it should be fairly simple to fix.
Yes, I can fix that.
Pop that wheel back on and might be movable.
That's not that we need to.
And as you're looking in this section, you see a wheelbarrow nearby, and this section does seem to continue on. It sort of veers left where the wheelbarrow is, and you can see it continues on a little bit, and it does go on straight. The actual track does stop here with the carts, though. This is probably some sort of a separate part place where you could store carts and do separate jobs.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it might have been a place where they were mining from.
Could be both. But yeah, it does continue on. You're not sure how big this section is.
I put it down on my map.
So you're not going to explore any further? You're just going to leave with the carts, go back to the main track?
I mean, we could, if we find some interesting shit, bring it in the cart along with us to Homestead.
Yes, I guess it will be a good way to welcome and announce our newfound relationships. It could help us.
I mean, it'd be good if we could fix that wheel at least. I don't really want to be pushing a...
I'm on it. God, I can take a hint.
Alright, well, who wants... While you're doing that, someone stick with him. I reckon a couple of us go check out this little cave. See what we can find.
I'll go looking into the dark.
I'll stick with Twig. Give him a hand.
What about you, kid? You want to come or you want to stay with the cart?
Yeah, I'll come along.
And Thistle, you want to stick here or do some exploring?
Just some exploring.
We won't go too far.
Good luck.
So you have two options. So basically, right behind the cart, there's a big pillar of stone reaching up to the roof. You can either go left where the wheelbarrow is or right.
Right.
Okay. You go right. And as you go right, up ahead, above you, Brax would see this first. You can see a support strut in the distance. And it does appear to go left again first, continue on, and then go right. Also go right.
I'm going to when I see those kind of things, I will be kind of carefully laying over and just checking out the support in that area. So when other people are investigating, looking around, we know we're not going to see them come down on us.
Yeah. This support strut seems to be holding. You can see a little bit of a buckle, but it doesn't seem too bad. That little path to the right seems to just be a small offshoot, quite skinny as well, only sort of less than 10 feet, maybe 7 or 8 feet wide. Not worked stone. This is tunnel, this offshoot, now that you've gone further into it. Beyond the support strut, you see another stone pillar, and there is a left and a right path around it. You could continue on. And to the left path, you can see that sort of continues on for a little while, but you can see the end of the wall. And then you can see a little pocket going off east again, and that's about it. So again, so it doesn't look like, unless it continues on a lot past the support strut, doesn't look like this is a huge section, but definitely much bigger than the previous offshoot.
What do you think, you lot? To pick a western wall and just continue along it?
Sure.
Yeah, that works for me. So if you pick the western wall, do you pick the wall of the pillar, or do you continue on to the strut?
Before you mentioned a kind of on the right, a kind of an offshoot, a small offshoot.
Yep.
That weren't part of these two continuing struts and stuff. So that to me is kind of on my left hand. So I'll be going to the right, the way I see it.
That would have been on your right hand as you came in, but as you're at the support strut, it would be on your left hand. Hell, I'm just going to give you a picture. Great podcasting when I give you guys a picture. So you guys came in at the carts. You see the big pillar there, the wheelbarrow, and you're sort of at the strut there. And you can see this little path going off north to the south, I suppose. But if you keep it on the western wall...
Yeah, just for the sake of the listeners, I would just kind of hold my right hand and kind of draw it along so that we're kind of tracing along all the walls, starting with this right one.
Yeah. So you continue on past this second pillar of stone, and yeah, you do see some old cobwebs, but it doesn't seem to be inhabited by anything. Maybe the spiders were here at one stage and got chased out, you're not sure. Maybe they're going to come back, but they don't seem to be in the same condition as some of the... Because you guys got trapped in some very intense spider webs earlier. This one seems to be a lot flimsier. Doesn't seem to be in good repair. As you keep going, you do notice the pocket, it's not a very big pocket, but you do see another big rock. Why don't you give me perception or investigation check?
Not great with investigation like the others, but I'll try with my eyes. Looking around. So it's 18. Pretty good roll.
Okay, with an 18. You are seeing, with your improved dark vision, you're seeing little specks of... It's not light. You don't have any light reflecting. So it's not that the light is reflecting of them, but you're seeing little flecks of color interspersed with these rocks. You suspect that this is some sort of mine. You're not sure what it is, but you suspect they were trying to mine something here.
And these flecks are much too large. They kind of seem like, or can I kind of take some samples?
You could try to take a couple of samples, yeah. Doesn't seem to be any substantial amounts, but if there's flecks of something here, that would give an indication there might be something in the rock.
Bring those back to Tweak, he might know a bit more.
Yeah. You also, that's it in this section. You go back, and if you go take the north section, you realize that it doesn't continue on for too much longer either. There is a little bubble, and there you find a pickaxe on the ground as well as the wheelbarrow. But other than that, there's not much around. Okay, Tweak, why don't you give me a Tinkerer's Tools check?
Okay. 9 plus Tinker's Tools, eh? Let's have a look here.
To be your intelligence plus proficiency.
I suppose I could assist.
Yeah, I think you could.
Plus
You'd be having to hold up the cart and stuff.
not much better. Okay, so what is that? So 15.
15. I'm going to say with a 15, you're able to get the wheel on. It's serviceable. It may fall off again if it gets hit or knocked, but you're not able to get the brake done just yet.
This damn brake. It's a funny design. Well, who needs brakes anyway? You'll be fine.
I'm not the one going to be riding in it. We'll be pushing it up anyways, so if we need to stop for any reason, I think we might just have to put something on the tracks or something.
Maybe I should spend some extra time with the brakes.
In other words, you want to ride it, don't you?
Am I that transparent?
Yes. The answer is yes.
All right, well let's just push it, and I'll work on the brakes. We've got some more resources.
Well, you're the one who knows what he's doing, so sure.
Okay, at this point in time, I think the rest of the group would reunite. There wasn't a lot of exploring to do. I will also say the wheelbarrow is in surprisingly good condition.
It's in surprisingly good condition.
Like, I'll say that you went over to the wheelbarrow, like, to sort of give it an appraisal, see if there were any parts you could use, and like, actually, it's fully functional, as is.
So I was working the cart of the
Yeah.
wheelbarrow. I
Yeah.
see.
But the two carts and the wheelbarrow are quite close to each other.
Okay, and on the other cart, does it have a functional brake?
No, it's completely snapped off.
But if it's snapped, that does mean that he could potentially just repair it with a spell,
Potentially.
and that it might be quicker to just repair that and chuck it on this one than.
It's the wrong cart.
Yeah, but I'm more talking about dismantling that to put it on this. If this one's that
I'll
far.
take the parts. I'll take the broken brake. And any bearings I could find, or any.
The bearings are short. Time. Bearings don't last that long.
Is there anything else salvageable?
I mean, yeah, like you've got the broken cart, which you could break down and you could put those pieces into this cart, or you could try to not break it and hopefully salvage it.
You'll just salvage bits and pieces off it.
Grab all the metal bits lying around.
Yes.
I'm sure the metal itself is valuable in Homestead.
So the cart itself, it's hard wood on the edges, reinforced with iron.
So I'll take the iron reinforcements. If I can get somebody to help me break it apart, we can. I can't do that.
You could do some of it. You probably need a hand for some of it because the cart is bigger than you. But I'll say, like, if you guys spend the time, you can break down the broken cart and you can basically fit it inside the now mostly
Does
functional cart.
wood carver's tools help?
It wouldn't hurt. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. Basically, any tool just so you can pry stuff apart would help. You got chisels and stuff, which would help with that.
Yeah.
Crowbar would probably help more, though.
I've got the carpenter's tools as well.
Don't know if anyone has a crowbar.
I've got it written down, but I don't think I. Oh no, yeah, no, we did get some adventure or Dungeoneers packs or something, just without
I've
the
got a
rations.
shovel and a miner's pick.
So
Miner's pick would do the job, but it would maybe break some of the wood.
I've got a crowbar, so I'd kind of just be the muscle for Tweak, even though I'm not much stronger than him.
Yeah, the whole point of a crowbar is you don't actually need to be that strong. It's about leverage.
True.
Strength helps, don't get me wrong. But yeah, you wouldn't take that long. Once you remember that you have a crowbar, it wouldn't take too long to break down this. It's already pretty mostly broken.
Well, I mean, wood, that'll be fucking valuable here. It's a resource that can't be regrown.
Yes, we can convert it to carbon fairly quickly, I'd imagine, to keep ourselves warm.
I'd rather not. I mean, those mushrooms were pretty good at that. And they regrow down here.
And also, the wood of the cart is too thick to make a shield. Like, it's too heavy and thick. You would have to, like, essentially shave it down.
I wasn't thinking of that. More just it's a commodity that you wouldn't have. It's a limited resource, essentially.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with the wheelbarrow?
Stick it in the cart, and I'll spend maybe 10 minutes trying to get this brake to work.
I think the wheelbarrow is too big to fit. You could put it on top of the cart, but it's not much smaller than the cart, and with the handles, it's bigger in some dimensions. So you can't really stick it in.
Could we almost like tie it to the back so it's like dragging behind or in front? Well, probably behind, if anything.
Could. It would just get awkward when you're pushing in the cart because you'd have to dodge a rope. You might trip and get tangled from time to time. But yeah, you could. Again, you could put it on top. It would just be a bit precarious. It's like when you're doing the dishes and you just start stacking things higher and higher.
We'll put it on top inverted and then tie it to the cart, and then you've got some handles up front to pull it with.
Sounds like a plan. So did I get this brake working? Should I have another go?
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Just give me 15 minutes. I should be able to get with this brake and...
Give me another artifice, a tinker's tools check.
So I'm using mending spell as well.
Okay. It still requires actual gumption to fix this. You can use mending on the old cart's break, but you still have to figure out how to get it all working.
22.
22. With a 22, yes. You have to go. You realize that the brake on this cart is it's missing a crucial piece down the bottom, which is basically just worn away with time. So you have to go to the other cart, you have to mend the brake back together, then you have to dismantle that and fully take it off the fully broken cart, which you sort of already have half done when you broke it down. And then you take off the old brake, and you put that on. You now have a functional cart, and a cart that is definitely never going to be functional ever again. But
We have a functional cart.
Congratulate you in Gnomish. Good work.
I feel like I could do more work with this cart.
paint it red. Make it go
Nice.
faster.
Yeah, just some. If I put some, I don't know, some explosions behind, channeled out a cylinder. We could get some turbo on this thing.
Put some sick flame decals on the side.
Put like a paper mache dragon head on the front.
So many options.
Well, we've got a functional cart now, and I think we make sure nobody tries to claim our cart. This is our cart. It's going to go to our base and my furnace.
I don't know if we can take it the whole way to your furnace without tracks.
You will need to relay a lot of track.
It's okay. We can bring people some gems. We don't tell them about the dwarves, and because they did promise that they would get us some gems, didn't they?
Well, for trade, of course.
Yeah, they said they'd be open for trade later. If you were to help them out, they might give you some stuff, though.
And we can establish a rail network, get some people building it.
It's a bit far in the future, mate. Let's just think about getting to Homestead.
Let's go then.
Okay, so who's pushing the cart?
I'm in the cart.
I don't know if there's enough room now.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough. You could be like sitting on top of it, but it would be quite precarious.
No, it's okay. I'll ride my steel defender. I can push it with the steel defender on one side, and perhaps somebody else on the other side.
How well did we tie the wheelbarrow on top? Because if I can just help by pulling on the other side, I would do that.
You can pull. You can push and pull. I think you could have two people pushing and one person pulling easy enough without rigging extra stuff.
What I could do is I'll jump off my steel defender and I'll tie the rope on the front around my so Boa, the steel defender, around its torso area, and tie it to the tracks and get him to walk forward.
So you're gonna have to first of all, you're gonna have to pull it back to the junction, switch the junction, and then push it forward. Actually, you haven't even checked out the junction very much, to be fair. And then you don't know what the tracks are like up ahead. You never actually checked how intact the tracks are up ahead. You just know that there is a section of track here which is mostly intact.
We're going to have to dust off the tracks as we go, I'd imagine. Or maybe carve out certain track areas.
True. Well, let's just hope it's decent enough up ahead.
Let's go. Who's helping with this thing?
Sounds like you got Callum, the steel defender, doing most of the boat work.
Gee, it'd be great if we had some young lad to help us.
Some young whippersnapper. They're definitely stronger than us.
Someone whose name rhymes with fuck.
I don't think he would help too much. I think it's more Heracus that rhymes with.
Yeah, I don't think the kid has done much manual labor in his life.
She looks just as good as able to push this cart as me, but I'm definitely not going to fit in it myself. This one might have to back me up on that.
You could fit two medium humanoids in this thing, squeezing a little bit, but you could do it if it was empty. It's very much not empty right now. It's quite full.
I'll help.
Thank you.
As you start pushing it, it is noisy. It is making a lot of noise as those wheels turn.
Oh, it does need some lubrication.
Guessing you never found any of that oil.
No.
I am keeping an eye out for sure, but haven't found it yet.
You had some oil.
Just looking, I have like an alchemist flask.
Someone give me a high or lows.
Highs.
I got one thing of oil, and I don't want to be making noise, but I can give a little bit. I'm not going to use all of it on this cart, but I'll use a little bit. I don't think it's going to... That was a lot of noise. I don't think we're going to make it silent, but we'll make it quieter.
I have a jar of wax-like substance. Not sure what it is. Would that assist?
Yes.
I do have alchemist supplies. Will that help you?
I have a pinch of black powder.
The wax-like supply stuff. I think that might help with reduce the noise, but it would probably make the pushing slightly harder if you're going to use it on the wheels and the bearings, which are shot, as I mentioned before. There's no... You're going to have to figure out a way to basically replace these bearings eventually. Basically, you need a good old can of WD-40.
Bit of wax, a bit of oil, that should help it a little bit. Get things moving.
Yeah, I think that's probably all we got. We want to keep moving. I'm kind of with Baracus. Maybe we just leave it here for now, come back and get it later, but...
Never!
Alright.
We might leave it.
I mean, this is just extra trade when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I know.
But
Somebody will come and take our stuff.
I mean, there's no reason we cannot.
I just repaired the brakes.
We can clear the track and make it mobile for someone else to grab it, but we've claimed it now.
well, Baraka, since you've got since your vision is a lot better than mine, why don't you walk ahead and suss it out, and then we'll come behind with Tweak's cart.
Tweak's cart. Our cart.
Well, it's Tweak's. Tweak did the work on it.
I assisted. We found it together.
Okay, Tweak and Callum's cart.
Our cart. It's not mine either. We all found it together.
Well, anyways, Baraka, why don't you move forward? I mean, your vision's a
He's
lot
already
better than mine.
gone.
So you start walking ahead, Baracus. The tunnel goes to about 40 feet, and it veers slightly left. And as you sort of go ahead and you look around the veer, you see a problem. A fairly large rock has fallen in the middle of the track and displaced the track. It's actually bent some of these struts out of the way. So you will have to... There is no way to push the cart through this section. You will have to figure out something.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We can mend it in certain places, and we could possibly use a crowbar and maybe bend it.
The track? No, the track will not be fixed with mending. The track is buckled and missing a gap. You could lift off the cart and move it to the next section.
And if we can't do that, we can always take the wheelbarrow off, fill that up, move the cart, and reverse.
Put the cart in the wheelbarrow. Genius.
I do have this fabricate spell.
That would be nice, but Tom, is it worth saving though?
You could definitely make a rail, like a train rail, with fabricate if you had the supplies to do so.
I think the wheelbarrow could go make a good track part. I mean, we could do it. It could be the start of our rail exploration. And once you get carts in here, it'll pay for itself once it's built.
Dare say that it's not worth spending any large resources on small bits until we know what this track is from end to from start to finish. There might be just another boulder on the way and wasted effort.
I reckon we just empty out the cart that you want to bring it, and we just get everyone around it, and we lift it and move to the next section, then fill it back up. It's going to be slow going doing this way.
All right.
But...
Let's do it.
I have an
then.
idea. I don't know if it's useful, but I do have an idea. Why don't we blow up the boulder?
We don't really have anything to blow it up with.
I do. I don't think I have enough black powder to blow it up, though.
I mean, even if we did get rid of the boulder, we still got a problem with lack of track in where the boulder hit it.
Okay, let's do it then. Let's start moving the cart. Hi ho, hi ho.
Yes, if you want to fix this track and make a fully continuous track, you will have to deal with this boulder at one stage. But even if you were to remove the boulder, that doesn't help you get the cart onto the next track right now. You still need to repair the track.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take the time, empty out the cart, and like 4 or 5 people get around it, you can lift and push it to the next section. It slows you down. It takes probably 20 minutes, all said and done.
I start doing it. I mean, we're in no hurry. We've got plenty of food and water.
Sorta. We know where water is now. I don't know where there's water around here, though. But we should be right.
Well, we just filled up, so hopefully there should be enough to last us to Homestead.
As long as we make it. Cool. Yeah, we can make it tonight, but as long as we make it by mid-morning, yeah, we'll be fine.
Well, people need to hurry and unload. Let's go. Snap, snap.
Yeah, now you do this, you get it onto the next section, and you do see another junction veering left, and it continues, but it also continues on.
Will we continue pushing?
Mm-hmm.
And continue pushing, so you're just ignoring the offshoot going left. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as you're pushing the cart, it takes a little bit of a push to get it past the junction, and then you see the track is a little bit patchier, and there's a couple of sections where you're going to have to muscle the cart to get it to continue on. So I'm going to need someone to make a strength check with advantage as you're trying to muscle the cart through these sections.
Does anyone have muscles?
I have some muscles, but
I think we might need you down here, Baracus.
This is little section. Like there's sections where like some of the runners of the track are missing or damaged. There's a section where part of the track is bent a little bit, so it's not a continuous line. So you just got to push it. So I'm just sort of making you give me a strength check to sort of represent you muscling through this section of patchy track.
I guess I'd step away from the front and just let Baracus take it, and I'd kind of go scout ahead.
My
like he
still
was.
defender could help too.
Like I said, I'll just get one person to do it with advantage. So whoever you want.
So you want to assist?
yeah, I'll give you guidance.
Oh, even better. Thanks. Horrible.
What you get?
Just checking that. 14.
14.
All up, yeah.
With a 14, it just takes a long time, but you are able to get it. You don't do any damage to the cart. It's just slow going. And a couple of sections really give you some problem. You have to sort of try a third time, push, and you finally get it through this really annoying section. Because like there's a bit where the rail is just sort of warped a little bit, and you just got to sort of muscle it past this bit where it's trying to squeeze, and the friction is trying to get you to get the cart to fully stop. But you get through. And it goes for about another 100 feet past this patchy section. And then you see up ahead what appears to be a much bigger junction than the two you passed previously. This one seems to have at least 2 things, and it seems to be veering off to your right. There seems to be a big opening where this is going into. And you also see a smaller thing off to the left, which doesn't seem to be... it seems to be a collapse.
Keep pushing. We're nearly there.
Keep pushing. As you push past, you get up to the junction, and you see that it does open up quite a bit to the right, and you see a few things. You see you don't see any more broken carts. You see some shovels in the distance, and you see what appears to be some room off in the not too far distance, about 80 feet away. Brax would see it first. And when I say room, it's more like there's like a 15. This area is probably about 30 feet wide, this junction, or maybe 40 feet wide. And as you go along, you see like 2 walls. These are stone walls, not well crafted, like not particularly smoothly crafted, but they are stone walls. And there's basically a section where there's like a 15-foot gap in these two walls that come off at right angles to the main walls. Have I explained that really badly?
No. I think that's fine. That does look intriguing, ladies and gentlemen. Do we want to stop for a rest in there? We have been pushing for some time. I've been crafting and making things. I could do with a bit of a rest.
Yeah, we'll have a rest.
It's honestly only been an hour since you fixed the cart and you started pushing. Maybe less, actually, more like 45 minutes.
Oh, but it's taken us. It took me time to craft the brakes, and I thought it'd be longer than that.
Oh, no, yeah, that was since you started moving with the cart to fix the brake and everything. Yeah, it's been an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been, 2-3 hours since our last sort of break.
Yeah.
And we've been pushing a cart for an hour.
Yeah, makes sense to have a breather.
Do we want to have a breather and have a look and explore this region?
Yeah, we might as well. Test out the new brake.
Yeah, you apply the brake, it seems to hold, and you sort of check out this section. Are you just keeping the cart on the main track, or are you pushing it off into the junction?
Let's just take it off the track so it doesn't roll anywhere, or nobody can just take it straight away.
Yeah, take it off the track and flick the junction back to the straight. So at least they have to, if someone nicks it, they'll have to fiddle with the junction.
Yep. Someone give me a strength check to switch the junction, because it is old and rusty.
Give Barakas guidance.
Oh, he won't say no to that. Oh, worse than before. It's 11.
Okay, you are not able to get this, but Candle will come over and try to give you some help, and you have a let's see if two of us can get this done.
Just stop getting me to roll for you guys. The natural one. For the bits.
The lever breaks. The junction lever breaks.
Stuck on this one piece of metal. It just won't go.
So it's stuck going forwards.
Yeah, you could still do the lift cart lift and put it onto the junction, but
I'll come and mend the broken lever.
Keep on forgetting about goddamn mending. Yes, you can mend the goddamn lever.
I'll mend it where it was snapped. All right, try again, boys.
Another strength check with advantage.
Great survival cantrip. All right, now we're talking.
Rarely is mending that useful in a campaign, but I think in this survival style campaign, it's very useful.
Yeah, I think so. 22.
Yeah, you're easily able to flick the junction. And then with a 20, you sort of, now that it's been mended, it seems to be fine now. You've got it moving again, so it seems to be, you don't think you'll have to muscle it as much next time.
Broken the rust off.
Pretty much. Maybe Candle puts a couple of drops of oil just to give it a little bit more go. It is noisy, though, as you move it. And the cart, while you've greased and oiled it and waxed it a little bit, it is still making decent noise. Like, it's not going to be possible to stealth while pushing this cart.
Probably a little bit quieter than Barakas then.
Although you all realize that we potentially have harpies at our backs. But it seems like this cart is important. Do now.
I don't think the harpies would be coming down here readily unless we had really pissed them off. It's not their terrain. They'd be stuck in here. They wouldn't be able to use their shit to their advantage.
Fair enough. Hopefully they don't send things that we've already dealt with down.
Okay. So what are you guys doing as you reach this new section? Are you taking another short rest, or are you just sort of stopping for a quick lunch, or...
I'm going to have a look around the room. Is there anything that looks like it could be salvaged or useful?
Give me a perception check.
Would I not be more investigating?
For now, it's a perception, to sort of see what you can see, and then there might be an investigation.
That's pretty good. I think I got +1 for perception. So 18.
18. Okay. So you can see in this room there is actually a full cave-in tunnel to the north. That's quite obvious as you sort of step in here and you get a little bit closer in. There's that little cave in that from the main track but that's only like a 10 by 10 section. It's not very big. This major room itself, where the junction is, and you can see a couple of lines where it basically just stops and comes to an end. They've been quite badly damaged as well. There's no cart here, but it looks like these were once cart storage areas. You continue on. You do see a very rusted cart axle, very heavily rusted, but it is iron, rusty iron. You do see, and when you get to the second section, you see before you get to the second section, you see a shovel. You see a rope, but someone's going to need to give me a higher lows as you go. Give me a higher lows.
Lows.
You go to pick up the rope, and it crumbles away.
As well as all your hopes and dreams.
Hear a scream.
As much as I was hoping you'd get rope, I was also kind of wishing for that.
But you have a rusty cart axle. So that was all in this main section, and as you go in and you sort of look into this other room, you see what appear to be more rotting crates that have been opened up. You see some barrels that are sort of split and open. You see some basically dissolved sacks of something, you're not sure, but they're sort of just dissolving into nothing. You think they might have just been dirt or sand, because they seem to just then you see a few sort of work tables that have seen better days.
Come on, Tweak, not the end of the world as we glaze over the image that we probably all missed. Him just collapsing to the knees, I'm sure.
Now someone can give me an investigation roll.
Me.
Two people can give me an investigation roll. Pick your people.
And Baracus, I guess.
No, I'm no good at that, buddy.
We got 16 for investigation.
16. Anyone else?
Sure, why not? 5.
5. You find a whole bunch of rotting wood, Callum. This wood definitely is more rotting than the other crates. You were lucky to find those 2 before. You're like, oh, maybe I'll get some more. But no, all of this wood it would burn well enough, but you don't think there's much else to be done with it. Tweak. You go over to the workbenches at first, and he's like, these have seen better days. The wood itself is pretty rough, but you do eventually sort of notice there's a hammer just like in the dirt, and you start cobbling them together. You are able to cobble together a set of mason tools.
Oh, this could come in handy. Mason tools.
I don't know if you guys have got masonry tools yet, but you do now.
I have smith tools, thieves tools, tinker's tools, leatherworks, alchemy supplies, and now mason's tools.
Giving you guys a lot of tools. You also go over to these sacks, and you realize that it is sand, and whilst the sacks are dissolved and they won't be any use for anything, if you wanted a whole bunch of sand, you could actually pile up some. You have to put it. You'd have to find something to put it in.
Sand is useful.
Now, are you all in this room, or are some of you back in the junction area?
I'd imagine at least unless you untied the steel defender, he'd be still tied up to it.
He's just standing there.
Maybe I should ask, who didn't come into this room? Who is back by the cart and the junction?
Well, the cart kind of was pulled into the junction.
Yeah. So, but this room is a separate bit. It's not far away or anything. It's like 30 feet away. I just want to get an idea of who's where. So I know Tweak and Callum went into the adjacent room. Thistle, did you go in with him?
No, I didn't.
You staying by the cart? Okay.
Yep.
Baracus, did you go in with him, or are you staying by the cart?
I'll be going with them to the darkness.
And Chuck, are you staying by the cart, or are you going in to search the room?
I'll stay by the cart.
Cool. Okay. Those by the cart, give me perception checks. So that's Thistle and Chuck.
And steel defender?
Sure, but Steel Defender doesn't have any way to communicate. But yes.
17.
17 for Thistle. Cool. So Thistle, you hear something sloshing.
Okay.
It seems to be getting louder.
My steel defender can't be surprised. It's vigilant,
Mhm.
and it rolled a 13 plus proficiency bonus times 2.
So 17. Same as Thistle. So it also hears a sloshing sound.
Kind of like curious.
Boa's gonna run towards me.
Alright. Let's have everyone roll initiative.
23.
5.
6.
Mm-hmm.
Does Boa go directly after me, or
Yeah, always directly after. So I just need your initiative.
Damn. So I got 21.
And Chuck.
15.
Dang, cool. So, Callum, you're up first. You're exploring this room, and you've had a steel defender run in. I don't know if Thistle has said anything, but if you sort of look out, you see Thistle like, sort of being very perceptive, sort of looking around, keeping an eye on things.
I probably wouldn't see that because I'm further away than 20 feet.
That's true, you wouldn't. You would hear the steel defender running in.
Yeah, and that's not something that would happen unless there's a reason. So I'd probably just start going towards the tracks on the way, putting on my shield, because I've probably taken that off while fucking around with stuff. And I'll see how close I can get.
Okay. So that was your action, not doing anything bonus action. Cool. And you're back in the main section. Tweak.
What is it, Boa?
Boa can't talk.
Boa stamps 3 times. There's a kid trapped down in the well. All right, I will go investigate. So I'll walk out. That was a Skippy reference for anyone that didn't know.
That was a Lassie reference.
Was it a Lassie reference? Lassie. We're Australians, so Skippy.
Yeah. So you go out to the main section. Give me a perception check.
4.
Yeah, you don't see anything. Maybe you can hear a sound, but like there's so much people are running around and stuff, so you can't really hear the sloshing sound.
What are you on about, Boa? And I guess my steel defender gets its turn
Mm-hmm.
and knows where this thing is, or
It doesn't know where a thing is. It just hears the sloshing sound.
he's gonna stand in front of me and take the dodge action.
Okay. As I say, Candle came in to explore this room with you. Candle basically takes up cover behind like the wall and just holds his crossbow out and is gonna like hold a shot. Chuck,
Yeah.
you're up. You're sort of oblivious to the sound that this thing is making, but you know there's all this action happening behind you. People seem to be getting ready for something, but you're not sure what.
Okay.
You see, like, Candle taking up, like, a defensive position over by that wall, getting some cover. You got Tweak taking up a defensive position behind the steel defender. You've got Callum sort of going out into the open, trying to position himself
I
for...
think we'll take disengage action as well. The dodge action as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
If I'm oblivious, then I don't do anything, right?
Well, yeah, you could... You see all the people, like, taking up some combat stances, so you know that something is about... You suspect something's about to go down.
Okay, well then I'll like ready Mind Sliver.
Okay, you ready? And Mind Sliver. Cool. So, at this point in time, the sloshing sound becomes much, much louder, and you all sort of, this time, you look up as from around the corner, there is something moving on the ceiling, some sort of black, amorphous shape. And it comes down and it's going to Well, as it sort of moves into your presence, the held action can go off, so you can do your mind sliver. I'll do a roll. It fails, so you can do your damage.
6 psychic damage, 2 from the save.
Cool. So it basically moves along it squeezes through like a small hole in the ceiling and then drops. And who is it going to attack? I'm going to roll a dice.
If anything, I probably would have tried to position myself next to someone, because I mean that's kind of my fighting style.
Yeah, you could have positioned yourself next to Chuck or Thistle. But I'm going to say that this ooze-like creature falls onto the ground. Well, sort of drips onto the ground, to be fair, and it's really large. And it is going to try. All of a sudden, a pod reaches out and tries to punch at Callum. It did roll, but that is not going to hit with a 10, unfortunately. And that's its turn. It's now next to Callum. Brachus.
All right. Am I close to this thing that just plopped down onto the ground?
You could it'd be about 30 feet away because you were in the room exploring, I think, weren't you?
Yes, I went into the room, yeah.
You could chase it down with 30 feet of movement.
Then I will do that while freezing up my pickaxe on the way. Weapon and I think just... And that noise, that sloshing, that wasn't from this thing. That's from elsewhere, is it?
No, that is the creature is literally making a sloshing sound as it moves around. It is an amorphous blob. It is huge, though. It is very large. And it moved along this rip onto the ground.
Trips onto the ground. Okay. So I will attack. I'm just trying to... Yep, I'll just attack for now.
What are you using to attack with?
It would be the piercing end of the stone smasher.
Yep, so that's the piercing and the cold end. Yep.
Indeed. Natural 1.
Natural 1 will miss. But essentially, you go to hit this thing and you swing your hammer and you like accidentally lodge it like in the ceiling. Like it's sort of, you just connect on the ceiling and all of a sudden you just don't have a full swing anymore. Are you sort of next to Callum as you do this?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. Anything else? Bonus action? That was your movement and action?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. Thistle.
I'm going to pull out my quarterstaff and cast Shillelagh on it.
Cool.
So, and I'll have a readied action for when it comes to me or gets closer to me.
I mean, you could get to it with your movement.
All right, I'll do that then.
Okay.
That's 20 to hit.
That hits.
And that's 8 bludgeoning damage.
8 bludgeoning damage. Okay. So with you hit it and you feel the connection. You hear the splat. But then after you hit it, you look at you can hear a sizzling sound coming from your weapon.
Oh no.
And yeah, we'll end it there. We'll finish this combat next episode. I think this is the first time we've done this, but maybe the second. But we'll start off next time basically getting right into this combat and we'll wrap it up. But for now, that's the episode, and we'll see you all next week. That's it for this episode of the High or Lows podcast. If you'd like to get in touch, you can find us on Twitter at High or Lows with underscores between the words, or you can find me at Feepster.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed listening, please leave us a 5-star rating and review, which is one of the best ways you can support us. You can also join the discussion on our Reddit and Facebook pages, or even our Discord server, and maybe play some games with us. Links can be found in the description below. Special thanks to Sirenscape for the background audio and Alex McPherson for providing the opening theme. I hope you can all join us next time as we continue on our adventure.